So yeah, we're gonna give everybody a few minutes to get on because we're a little bit early. We had several hundred people register for um, this tonight, guys. I think there's gonna be some difficult times coming ahead, but I think there's gonna be some great opportunities for you guys. Um, Guys, I also have how to be a FISBO master too. I don't have it here. Didn't have the picture here saved. I could easily get when I was putting this together, and but you can also find it on Amazon. Guys, I have so many notes for this call. There's so many things that I want to talk to you guys about that I think is going to be some stuff that's going to really, really positively impact your real estate business, and I think it's going to I think it's really going to change your life. Hey, John. Hey, Dathika. Hey, everybody that's on Zoom. Can everybody hear me okay? Let's just do a quick sound test before we get started. Cool. Hey, Andy, how's it going? How's it going on everybody's business? Are you guys already seeing stuff happening or changing in your business? Hey, Nicole, are you already seeing stuff happening and changing in your business? Are you seeing some contracts, people backing out of it? Are you seeing lending get a little bit tougher? Nicole, you are. Yeah, the thing that we're going to see, this is going to be the first thing we're going to see here, is we're going to see lending getting a little bit tougher, right? You're going to see some minimum credit scores. If they're not in the pipeline already and they're not in process getting a loan, and they're a marginal borrower or a borrower that doesn't have a regular job, maybe they're self-employed, we're going to see a lot of those programs go away first, right? So I know a lot of people thought I was crazy when I made a post a couple of weeks ago or a week or so ago saying 1 million people in California filed for unemployment. Guys, this is the beginning. We're at the beginning, right? We're at the beginning of something we have truly never seen before. Cash buyers are coming out. Yep. Cash buyers are. So guys, it's 9 o'clock. Let's get started. Anybody that didn't hear, they can get caught up with us here. So guys, you can buy my books. They're on Amazon. How to be an expired master, how to be an objection master, and how to be a for sale by owner master. They're all on Amazon. Guys, we're about to have a wave. We're about to have a wave of for sale by owners, right? And Christopher said, my lenders have already said they're not doing non-conforming. Credit scores have to be 640 to 680, depending on the lender. One of his lenders just lost a $2.8 million loan because the investor backing the loan pulled out. Andy said, got a buyer today with a 590 credit score decline from a lender. New requirement 620. Guys, we're going to see that. We're going to see it a lot. So guys, I know that there's some of you that Rob, I don't know. But I know there's some of you guys. I'm going to stop sharing this because I want to show you guys some stuff that I don't know I don't know how much you guys are paying attention, but I want to make sure that you know and that you're aware, right? And keep it up because I know how it is. There's so much news and so much crazy stuff going on that man, it's tough to keep up with. So guys, so the first thing, new home sales are killing it here right now. Thanks, Gary. It's a wreck. 3.3 million file unemployment claims as economy comes apart. The weekly figures among the first data. So now this was the first real week, right? The first real week. I was listening to James Altucher this morning. James Altucher used to run a hedge fund. He's got a podcast. Really, really sharp guy. One of the things that he was talking about was how many people work in the restaurant industry. How many servers are there out there in the country? And he was talking about there being, I think he said 15 million possibly out of work right now. So that's crazy numbers. Crazy numbers. So CNBC's reported, I've seen this on a couple other channels, coronavirus job losses could total 47 million. Unemployment rate may hit 32%, which is absolutely crazy. Crazy. There are nearly 67 million Americans working in jobs that are high risk of layoffs, according to the analysis. St. Louis Fed President James Bullard said last week the initial estimates are grim, but the plunge will be short-lived. So we are hoping, and I am optimistic when I say this, and Karen just said they have 2 restaurants. It's brutal. I am optimistic when I say this, hopefully this is all short-lived. I read another thing saying that the peak of this virus and the spread is only a couple of weeks away. So hopefully we'll hit the top of that, and we'll be it'll be over, at least on the downward end of things. But it's not going to start. It's going to get a little worse before it starts getting better, right? So now this is what I'm most concerned about. We see the unemployment. We saw how high unemployment could go. But in April, starting Wednesday, basically, we're going to see a wave of missed payments, right? There's going to be a wave of missed payments. There is going to be, like I said before, there's one article, I couldn't find it for this call, but there's one article saying 25 to 35% of people with a mortgage could miss a payment. Actually, it's right here. If roughly 1/4 of residential borrowers unable to pay their mortgage and need forbearance for 3 months to 9 months, servicers could be on the hook for 36 to $100 billion, right? I mean, what if 1/4 of the people with a mortgage out there don't pay their mortgage in April? I know that we've got bailout money. I know that we've got forbearance stuff. I know that there's programs out there and there's help for these people. There is help for the people, but what will it do to the mortgage servicing industry and the banking industry, right? I don't want to speculate. I'm just asking the question. I kind of, be honest with you, I know what's going to happen. We're going to see where some of these people, they don't make it, right? Some of the banks won't be able to afford the forbearance that they're going to offer. They could afford it, like say if, a few hundred or a few thousand people done it, but then all of a sudden there's a million people doing it, right? So when unemployment numbers are released on April 3rd, some expect a 30% uptick in claims, with potentially 2 million to 3 million borrowers needing forbearance, right? So 2 to 3 million people just quit paying their mortgage. Now, here's the other thing, guys. What happens when people don't pay their rent? I mean, this is even a crazier thing. So a lot of these, Rob's exactly right. Are bankers going to report customers as being late on their credit report? I don't know. I don't have an answer for that. But I want to show you guys, while we're getting started here, I want to show you guys what the reality of what we're facing is. If a lot of people don't pay rent April 1st, there's a lot of people out there with mortgages that will not be able to pay their mortgage also, right? Or will not, that takes a certain amount of money away from them. Now, there's a lot of areas too, a lot of states. South Carolina, we can't file an eviction. My understanding is we can file an eviction. We just can't do a writ of ejectment. We can't sit somebody out until after May 1st. So, wow, that's a long time. Here, it's usually a 2-3 week process. Some states are doing more than that, right? So I don't know what's going to happen with that, but guys, it's going to be we have interesting times ahead. Now, I believe that when we do have this, this situation, we're going to see a lot of for sale ball owners come on the market. I think that's going to be the first thing. And guys, what we're doing here tonight, this is the Quarantine Business Blueprint. What I want to do is I'm going to show you guys how to keep making money in this business, how to continue growing your business. And at the end, I'm going to show you a $100,000 notebook plan at the end, how to put $100,000 in your pipeline, even though we're in this sort of market where we have a lot of turbulence and we have a lot of crazy stuff and we have a lot of just crazy shit, really. So we're going to talk about putting $100,000 in your pipeline. Guys, I'm going to plug my group coaching here right now. If you join my group coaching month of April, go to jasonmorrisgroupcoaching.com and use the coupon code $1. The month of April will only be $1 for you if you join and use that coupon code. And so what we're going to talk about on this call, though, we're going to talk about your mindset. We're going to talk about some mindset problems and some mindset changes you need to have and you need to work on, right? We're going to talk about your daily habits, because I know for a lot of you guys, daily habits have changed. Your daily habits have changed like crazy. A lot of you have watched The Tiger King like 5 times now, all of them. And I will tell you guys, I know the guy from Myrtle Beach, if that even makes it more exciting for you. Met him, had the opportunity to meet him a few times. It's just strange. But we got to talk about your daily habits. We got to talk about the listing process that you're going to. We're going to talk about prospecting in this sort of market. We're going to talk about lead sources, and we're going to talk about social media. I think right now we have an opportunity for social media like we've never had before. And Michael Pearl just said, what about Redfin and Zillow canceling a huge amount of their contracts with Florida homeowners? Guys, the reason Redfin and Zillow are canceling contracts with their instant buyer program is because they foresee the market changing. They foresee the market going down. In the market that we're in, them closing on those deals, they're bad deals. And Rob asked, are you aware of the process for filing for unemployment about the payroll protection program? Guys, there is a program. I tell you what, I've been working on getting the details and stuff, and what we'll do is we'll do a call later on that. Right now, we're not going to worry about unemployment. We're going to worry about making sure that yourself is employed, right? So we're going to talk about social media and some of the things that I see and some of the things that I think you guys should do, and you'll get a lot of results from this. Right, man. Hey, if you keep making money, why do you need unemployment? $600 a month, $600 a week. God, we'd eat out that some weeks, you know? It's not that much money. Work on your business, right? So we just talked about the current stuff. Large companies have paused acquisitions. We're pretty close to the beginning of it. 3.2 million people have filed for unemployment. Instant offer companies have quit buying. So let's talk about your mindset. So, guys, one thing that we need to be the agent that brings solutions, right? Rob, don't worry, buddy. Just keep working, right? Let's be smart. Let's keep working. We're going to make a lot of money during this time. Guys, for some of you guys, this will be a time during your business where your business will explode. There will be some agents that give up because the business is changing and the business won't be like it was maybe ever again, right? It's going to be a lot of things that change after this. This truly changes everything. And what we're going to have to do is we need to be the agent that brings solutions. We need to be the agent that truly has information, the agent that can truly help, right? I'll tell you guys, if you can help those clients you've been following up with, you can help them with information about loan deferments, right? Information about market statistics, information about what's happening in the real estate industry. Guys, you will succeed. I'm going to tell you, back in 2008, 2009, guys, there were so many short sales I'd done because I called the people. I knew they were behind on their mortgages. Some of them did not want to lose their house, man. They worked hard for it. They wanted to hang on to it. They were just in a bad situation. I gave them information, tried to help them modify their mortgage. Now, I wasn't sitting there on the couch spending hours and hours with them, but I had no problems emailing them over a little package I'd put together with all the information on modifying their mortgage. Now, a lot of them got turned out. A lot of them didn't qualify, right? And when they didn't qualify, a lot of them came back to me. A lot of them, it just took me following up. They'd get the modification and realize, hey, they still couldn't afford the house. But if we done a short sale, there was moving allowances back then. Chase even offered a $30,000 cooperative short sale bonus. It was insane. There were a lot of sellers that I truly helped, right? That were in bad situations. They ended up getting the $30,000 or ended up getting the $3,000 half a moving allowance. And what happened was they were able to move into their next home, and it truly helped them. I mean, it probably changed some of their lives, right? Um, Rob said there's a lot of condo buildings here that have shut down. Guys, there's condo buildings in my market that have shut down too. There's a lot of ocean front, a lot of vacation rentals that are going to lose probably a quarter to a third of their rental income. And what we're going to have from that, Rob, is we're going to have a lot of motivated sellers. A lot of motivated sellers that bought their place when times are really bad and paid very little for it, but their HOA fees are killing it, right? Jeff Kessel, you're exactly right. There's always going to be buyers that need to buy and sellers that need to sell. We just got to find them. Our job is to get in the middle, facilitate those transactions, and hopefully make it a little bit better for them. Dan, stay top of mind with your database and come from contribution and caring. Business will come for that, and we're going to get to that here in just a minute. But guys, we got to be the agent that brings solutions, right? On loan deferment, will it negatively impact their credit? Chad, I don't know. I guess it depends on your bank. My guess is it probably will. Christopher Peterson, I've never had more Z-Buyer leads. Everybody wants that cash offer now. I bet so, guys. I've got people I talk to about buying houses that I talked to about myself buying houses 6 months, 12 months ago. They're calling me back going, hey, are you ready to make a deal? Would you like to make a deal? And my response is to them right now, I'm not. I'm sorry. Maybe we can make a deal in 3 months. Maybe we can make a deal in 6 months. Right? But we need to be the agent that brings solutions, right? I've seen this too. I've seen this in the message groups, calling clients right now, calling for sale owners, expireds, and things like that. You're not taking advantage of people, right? Making calls, continuing to prospect. What you're doing is you're offering a solution to a potential problem. That's not taking advantage of people. Honestly, if you have a solution to a problem that millions of Americans are having and you're not sharing that solution with them, you are selfish. You are selfish. Let me repeat that. Got 100 people on the call right now. If you are not calling your clients, if you're not calling your friends, your family members, you're not keeping them abreast of what's happening in the market and what changes and opportunities there are right now. If you're not calling them with solutions to a potential problem you see them maybe having or a potential problem coming up, guys, you're being selfish. And I've heard it. I had an agent tell me the other day that they could report me to an ethics thing for something I said like that. But that's the truth, guys. If they're about to miss a mortgage payment, they know their job isn't going to come back or come back soon. They're thinking about their bills. Yeah, they might be thinking about a virus. They might be thinking about stuff that's coming up, right? They might have a lot of stress, but I guarantee you, they will welcome your call, right? In 90 to 120 days, 90 to 180 days, I believe we're going to see the market fall off. I believe we're going to see a rise in for sale owners. I believe that every one of you needs to read my for sale owner book. If you have it, it's been sitting on a shelf. You need to read it because all that's coming. We haven't had a lot of for sale owners in a while, guys. And if we do have a lot of inventory come on the market, hopefully we don't. Hopefully, guys, I'm wrong with all this, right? But we're going to have a lot of inventory come on the market. All of a sudden today, if they put their house on the market today, they'd be the only one in the neighborhood. If they wait 60 days, they're going to be one of 10 in the neighborhood, right? I mean, that's the reality of things. So right now, inventory is still low, and we don't know what's going to happen, right? Dan said, if you're not well versed in short sales, how do you help people that are worried about losing their job and not being able to pay their mortgage? Well, Dan, the thing is right now, a lot of those a lot of people have equity. There's a lot of people with equity right now. So right now, I wouldn't be worried as much about short sales today as I would be just helping them get as much equity as possible. If they put their house on the market today versus 60, 90 days from now, they will get more money for their house today. I guarantee you. I guarantee you. Right? Jeff said, Rob from NAR on credit reporting, if furnishers provide an accommodation and the customer makes their payment, or if not, payment is required, then the furnisher must report the customer as current. So I'm assuming, Jeff, that means they're not going to report it as current. So guys, so negative mindset, no one's buying. Right? I've heard this too. I've heard that nobody's buying houses. Guys, tons of people are buying houses. Tons of people are buying houses. Just pull up your MLS and look at the new listings. Look at the pending listings. Look at the solds. Stuff is happening in your market, I assure you. Right? Even for you guys that are telling me about how deals are falling apart, if you pull up the solds from today, I guarantee you deals closed. Right? I guarantee you new listings are coming on the market. I would bet even in New York, in some of these markets where you're not technically supposed to be doing real estate right now, I guarantee you stuff's coming on the market. I guarantee you, Rob, in the condo buildings you're talking about that you can't share right now, I guarantee you if you look on MLS, there's stuff going. And Dan's right. Provide the data to everybody you talk to. Be the knowledgeable one. Be the knowledgeable one. Yep, your business will, I guarantee your business will blow up in a few months, right? Right, so everybody's too stressed out to talk about real estate. Guys, I'll tell you this too. If you call somebody on the phone, more than likely, guys, everybody's sitting at home right now. I mean, if you don't believe me, look at your Facebook. Ozarks just came out. You know, the only thing you're interrupting is Ozarks and the Tiger King show. That's it. Worst case, you're a distraction from their problems. I've been hearing from friends of mine in the real estate industry, friends of mine, and just people, you know, dude, I haven't talked to in a long time. And they're calling me just because, you know, hey, they don't have anything else to do. I mean, it's nice to hear from them. You know what I mean? Chuck said there's a 25% answer rate over last week. Right? So worst case, you're a distraction to their problems. More than likely, their biggest concern is their house and how do they keep where they're living if they don't have a job, right? Guys, in your database, I guarantee you, people you know right now are looking for solutions. So this is another misconception that we have. We got to change our mindset on a lot of this stuff. Here the last couple of years, a lot of agents feel like everything has to be perfect. Yes or no? Raise your hand, hit the thumbs up button on Facebook, or say yes or no in the comments. Are you getting professional pictures typically? Were you getting professional pictures? Yes or no? Were you getting a stager? Were you getting, have you been under the impression everything has to be perfect? Right? I know there's some agents out there right now that feel like everything has to be perfect. They can't take a listing if they can't do this 100-point checklist, right? Wrong, guys. Wrong. You can do it. As you know what, right now with social distancing and all this crazy stuff, you in some markets you might not be able to find that professional photographer. You know, so right now what we have to do, everything can't be perfect right now in a lot of markets. In some markets in the next week, 2 weeks, I'm expecting this week for us to get one of those shelter in place things from our governor, right? Just closed all the public beach accesses. Yeah, perfection isn't necessary. Settle for excellence. You know what? Settle for solutions that work today. We have to work with what we have and the situation we have until things get better and we can do better, right? Hey, you guys that are in New York, if you talk to that for sale by owner, yeah, you can't run out and set an appointment with them and take pictures today. I mean, honestly, it's kind of crazy, but you guys are shut down. And I understand a lot of it. but at the same time, it seems a little bit crazy. But guys, you know what? That seller that wants to get their house on the market right now, hey, guess what? Guess what? That seller could go snap 10 pictures with their cell phone for you, text them over to you, digitally sign the paperwork, and you could be marketing that listing right now on MLS, and it could be syndicated to all the websites, and buyers that are sitting there watching TV could be looking at it on their cell phones. And Debbie said, I'm having to cut out that photography expense for the first time ever. And honestly, I think that we're going to see some of you guys have some crazy expenses that when you cut them out because of this situation, you're going to realize, man, you're going to think back and you're going to go, God, did I really ever need that anyway? Right? Dan said, think outside of the box, do virtual tours and virtual open houses. It works and people are buying sight unseen. They are right now. But as inventory grows, we're going to see that isn't going to be like that forever, right? Rob said for a short sale, the owner would have to receive the notice of default. And most banks usually wait 3 months or more before they file that. So in short term, not any short sales. I will tell you guys, I don't know about now because we don't have short sales right now. Christopher said Facebook Live, but we don't have a lot of short sales right now. But I will tell you, back when we had the financial crisis and things were going really crazy, guys, I did short sales without people being behind on their payments. As long as they could show, a hardship and show where at some point, you know, they were probably going to get behind on payments, the bank would do it. So there's a lot of you guys too that you're gonna listen to some of the things we're gonna talk about tonight and some of the things you've been doing, and you're gonna go, oh, but it's not working. I want to tell you guys some things that we're gonna do over the next couple of weeks, over the next month. It might not bring results as quick as you want, but we got to commit to the process. Sometimes when we're helping people in their bad situations, we're giving advice, when we're truly advising them. I feel like we should be advisors. I should feel like we should be looking for solutions for our clients. Sometimes when we're looking for that solution and we're trying to help them with a solution, sometimes, yeah, we don't get a listing today. We don't get a listing this afternoon, right? But we end up with somebody we truly helped, 2, 3 weeks from now, a month from now, when they miss the second mortgage payment. They get a little bit more motivated, then they call us back, or we're following up. We should be constantly following up, and when we're following up, what we end up with is we have somebody that we offered them solutions, and hopefully we end up with a client that we really help or really helped, and they become a raving fan of ours. I'll tell you guys, there's a couple that owns a little convenience store at our market, and and I helped them with some problems they had several years ago. And I'll tell you what, guys, I've never sold a piece of real estate for them. I've never sold a piece for them. They're super nice people. When I'm out that way, I stop by their store. I go in, chat a few minutes, and get a drink or what. I buy something, right? And I tell you what, everybody that comes in the store that talks about selling real estate or tells them selling real estate, guys, they give those people my number. Right? And Dan's right. A lot of you guys, it isn't working because of your mindset. You got to stay positive and know it'll work out. And we're going to talk about that here in just a second. But maybe not today, but down the road, they're going to remember you. I agree with you. These people at this store, I've never sold a house for them, but I bet I've sold 15 houses for people they've referred to me. I mean, they're super nice people. And like I said, man, they remember Jason and they give my number out to everybody, right? But guys, we got to remember too that we got to help the people we can help. Have you guys ever heard, you guys in my group coaching, you've heard about this, but have you ever heard the difference between a sorter versus a converter? Okay, so have you ever heard that? Yes or no? So a sorter, let's say we got a deck of cards and we're looking for aces. Somebody that's a sorter will flip through that deck of cards and they pull out all the aces, right? They pull out all the aces. They go through it really quick. They don't worry about the eights. They don't worry about the kings, queens. They worry about the people that want to work with them today, the people that need their help today, right? Now, this doesn't mean the sorter doesn't go back and flip through that deck of cards later on. It just means they're looking for the people that can help today. Now, a converter, a lot of us as agents, we try to be converters, right? And what that means is the converter is flipping through that deck of cards. They come across an 8. Now, we know an 8 can never be an ace, right? But what they do is they run to their desk and they get a Sharpie and they try to turn that 8 into an ace, right? But it doesn't really work, right? The 8 will never be an ace. But they spend so much time trying to convert that they never really get a lot done. Converters don't get a lot done, right? The sorters went through 4 decks of cards before the converters got through that first one. And that's what I see a lot of agents doing. They'll call 20 people, 19 of them didn't answer, but one person answers and needs their help, right? But instead of worrying about that one person that needs their help, they worry about the other 19. They subscribe to ZBuyer and they get 5 leads that don't want to hire an agent today, but they quit or they spend so much time worrying about those 5, they can't call the number 6 person that really wants to do something right now, is truly motivated, right? What I worry about is the person I can help today. The 1 out of 20 I can help today. The other 19, hey, I wish the best for them. It doesn't mean I'm not going to call them back at some point. It just means that I can't help them today. Chuck's right. You can't sell an unqualified lead. I will tell you guys, Grant Cardone, you guys have probably seen that video where he says no interest is a level of interest. No interest means you move on to the next person that might be interested, right? It isn't that you don't come back to the person that told you they weren't interested in your service. That person that said, hey, we don't want to hire a real estate agent, but they got a for sale by owner sign out their yard. Hey, we don't worry about them saying they didn't want to hire you. We don't judge that in any way, right? We move on. We look for the next person. Doesn't mean we don't call them back in a week and follow up. It just means we're not concerned with what they have going on today. We're not going to get hung up on it, right? So I keep hearing this too. Everybody wants to wait until this is over. Guys, this isn't correct. Yep, yes or no are the best responses. The maybes are a waste of time. Sometimes, Rob, it's like that, you know? I'd rather have a quick no than a long no. I'd rather have somebody tell me right off, hey, look, we don't like you because of your shirt you're wearing, right? Rather than somebody that drags me along for 6 months. But this is something I keep hearing agents saying too. Everybody wants to wait until it's over. This is not correct. Just pull up MLS. Look at the new listings that came on the market today. There are people that want to do something today, I promise you. So, guys, we talked about mindset. And we got to remember, there's always going to be people that want to buy and sell, no matter how bad the market gets, no matter how good or how bad. There's always people that want to buy and sell. There's always people that want to do something, right? So daily activities. Let's talk about what you need to do. Number one, I know this is hard for all of us, but I'm going to give you guys some advice. I am a news junkie. I will watch all the news. Then I will watch the conspiracy videos talking about the news, and then I will discuss them with my friends some days. And you know what? Sometimes it stresses me out. How many of you guys do this? Right? And I'm trying to be better about this. I've really been trying the last couple of days. Stop watching the news. It's nothing but chaos. It's not going to tell you all the good things that are happening in the world. Right? It's not going to tell you all the good things happen in the world. It's just going to tell you the negative things because negative news sells, right? As you know what, I was listening to this Tony Robbins thing today, and he was talking about the news, and he said one of the things he said was, "Hey, people, a newspaper. You walk by a newspaper, and it says, hey, great sunny skies are ahead today. Nobody really wants nobody wants to pick up that newspaper." But if the front lines for the newspaper said devastating storm coming, right? everybody would buy it. Everybody wants to know about the storm. They don't want to know about the great sunny day. They want to know about the bad things. Bad news sells news. Bad news keeps us watching, right? So this is what the news makes their money doing. Crisis is like this. And guys, if you're stressed out, you're worried about this, I guarantee you, quit watching the news. If something happens that you really need to know, and Dan's right, there is no try. You either do or you don't. If something happens that you need to know, guess what? Somebody will probably call you about it. Somebody will call you about it. Somebody will tell you, and somebody will probably text it over to you, right? Number two, guys, during tough times like this, when you're sitting at home and you're bored and you feel like things aren't going well, right? We gotta find things. We gotta find things that are good. We all have things good going on in our lives. Um, and guys, one thing that really helps is having a gratitude journal. And this thing, it could be something on your cell phone. It could be a notepad. It could be really anything that you can write things down and look back at it, because we got to look for these positive things, guys. We got to look for the positive things. I mean, there's a lot of you guys that have a ton of stuff going on that's really cool. Maybe this time, Aaron, I'm a huge gratitude journal fan. Um, you know, there's something positive going on in your life. I mean, there's something positive. I mean, I'll tell you this. I know there's a lot of people talking about how much weight they've gained. Man, when we ate at home, I ate so much healthier. Right? I eat so much healthier. We're usually eating like steak or chicken, or we're cooking it on the grill. It's not fried. It's not, it's nothing crazy, right? We're not going out to dinner. We're not getting ice cream and desserts and stuff like that. Usually when we eat at home, man, we eat healthy. I feel great. Felt great. I probably lost a couple of pounds. I mean, Rob just said his MLS. He looked 206 new listings. I mean, there's people doing business. Guys, I'm thankful for people doing business, right? I'm thankful that people are still out there working, that attorneys are working, title companies are still working in my market. There's something that you can find that's positive. Aaron Bennett Thomas just said, I downloaded an app called Gratitude. Yeah, I mean, there's something going on in your life that's great. There's something going on with your kids. There's something really, really great happening with your kids. Maybe you've got to help them with their schoolwork now, where usually you're super busy and you're running all over the place. There's something going on in your life, I assure you, that is fantastic. It's amazing, and that you can be really thankful for at this time, during this time. Number three, positive motivational material. Guys, this is something that's like, I mean, it's part of my day. Positive motivation material. Read 10 pages in a book, listen to self-help. I like Jim Rohn. I like Tony Robbins. I like Brian Tracy. I mean, dude, I like to listen to this stuff. I like to make notes. Sometimes when I make notes, I process the information like so much differently. Sometimes those notes end up being like coaching calls or built around them, or small parts of coaching calls. But I mean, me going out and trying to work on myself personally, guys, it helps me to be more positive, helps me build a stronger mindset. If you keep putting great things in, great things are going to come out. You're going to see great things. If you put in like a lot of negative things, it's just going to be negative. All you're going to see is negative. It's your RAS, reticular activating system, I think is what it's called, right? If we look for the bad, all we're going to see is bad. If we close our eyes and say red, 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 we open them and we're going to see red. Your mind decides what's important for you, or what's important to you. It's like when you test drive you go out and you test drive a red BMW. Never seen a BMW that color. You love it, right? You leave the dealership and all of a sudden it's like you see those red BMWs everywhere, right? It's because your mind feels like that particular car, that particular color is really important to you. Our mind blocks out the things that are not important to us and lets us see more of the stuff that is, you know. Michelle said there's a lot of positive to this. I see people walking more. They've started the things they've always meant to start. It's a human reset, less BS and more substance. I'll tell you what, guys, I'm disappointed. I have people talk to me all the time about writing books. Why aren't they using this time to start a book, you know? Number four, during times like this, I know there's a lot of us sitting home. There's a lot of us feeling sorry for ourselves. There's a lot of us that, you know, maybe we have somebody that we live with. Maybe we have friends. We have people that are telling us, hey, we're losers or whatever it is. And guys, it affects us, right? I'll tell you, affirmations during times like this work. Affirmations work. Self-talk. Be mindful of your self-talk. You know, if you're beating yourself up in your head, guys, it's going to affect you long term, right? Reticular activating system, exactly, RAS. But affirmations and self-talk, be really mindful of that. So number 5, physical activity. Physical activity. There's a lot of us, we're always up, running around, doing stuff. I know for me, like I'm always doing something. And I'll be honest with you, when I sit on the couch 2 or 3 days and I don't really do anything, I just kind of hang out and just kind of sit there, you know, like a bump on a log. I you know, I start feeling a little depressed, you know, if I get up, move around and stuff. Richard Branson said he thought the most important thing that he did in his day was physical activity. Um, and just wakes you up and makes you feel better, gets endorphins going, right? We need to look at this in our daily activity. You know, if you sit on the couch in your pajamas all day, you're not going to feel really good about yourself, you know? Um, number six, I think this is the most important thing that we need to look at as real estate agents and I mean, we are small business owners, we are entrepreneurs, we are the people that have to figure out what we do during the day, right? And guys, I think that we need to, even though we have this time, number one, we don't know when this time's going to end. I know I keep hearing people that are experts that say, oh, you should enjoy this. You should do what you know, do the things you always want to do. I am not in agreement with that. I'm not, I mean, yeah, if we've got a lot more time, right? You should do things that you've wanted to do. You should work on projects you want to do. But I think that if we do have goals for 2020, I'm not saying don't take a day off, but I'm telling you, we need to stick to some sort of schedule. I know your schedule today probably isn't the schedule you had 30 days ago, right? But we need to work on sticking to some version of that schedule, right? Because number one, if you don't make calls for a month, you don't prospect for a month, people start forgetting about you. Your database starts forgetting about you. You take a month off, you know, your pipeline's going to drop. You know, I've referred to your business quite often in real estate business as being a funnel, like an oil funnel. You got to keep dumping oil in the top. And once you quit dumping oil in the top, you quit dumping the new leads in, right? The new leads, the daily conversations, following up your sphere of influence. You quit dumping all that good stuff into the top. Sooner or later, stuff quits coming out the bottom, which is commission checks, right? We have to stick to some version of a schedule right now. So guys, let's talk about the listing process. Is this helping you guys so far? I know we're going to get into more of what to do and how to do stuff and what to say, but so far, is this helping you guys? Right? Cool. Cool. Thanks. Thank you guys. Thank you guys. So the listing process. Now, of course, the listing process has changed. Now, what we're going to talk about now, though, is stuff that I feel like it's more important than ever to have a listing package, pre-listing package, right? I think it's more important than ever to have this because a lot of us were working on bullshit anyway. We'd set an appointment, we'd show up to their house, and we'd just wing it anyway, right? Well, now you can't show up to their house. A lot of you can't show up to their house. A lot of you are trying to wing it on the phone, and you're probably not doing very well at it, right? I was a big believer in a pre-listing package before. I've told you guys for years now, the number one tool in my toolbox was a pre-listing package or pre-appointment package. Call it a marketing package. I like to eliminate the word listing when I'm talking to the general public. Listing has bad connotations. We never hear the word listing in the general public unless it's followed by a bad or negative story. But with you guys, I call it a pre-listing package so you know what I'm talking about. The term listing is nothing but industry slang, and it means nothing outside of our industry. But I think it's really important to have one. It's your package. It's your brochure that tells about you, your team, and what you do to sell houses. Right? Jason Morris pre-listing package.com. If you go to this website, you can download a template for free, and it has a video that tells you what all to do with the template. It's nothing elaborate, but we got to have something to send them that tells about us, right? You called them off Craigslist. You know who also was calling off Craigslist? The Craigslist killer, right? Look it up on Google. This makes you look legitimate. This makes you look like you're you. This makes it look like you have a plan, right? I believe that often, sometimes, well, I believe most of the time, sellers go with the agent that has the solution for them or that's the best plan, right? Right? It's like going to a doctor. You go to the first doctor, you got to have major surgery. The doctor tells you, hey, and Michelle, I'll get to that here in just a second. But you got to have major surgery. You go to the first doctor, and the first doctor says, hey, we're just going to get in there and we're going to do exploratory surgery. We're basically going to cut you open and root around in there and hope we find something, right? Nobody wants to go to that doctor. You go to the second doctor, and the doctor goes, hey, Michelle, look, this is what we're going to do. Here's step 1, here's step 2, here's step 3. The surgery lasts 30 minutes. It's a 2-week recovery. You're going to be out of the hospital that afternoon, and things are going to be great, right? That's the doctor you want to go to. They have a plan. Even if they're wrong, they have a plan they seem confident about. And, really, if you do the pre-listing package, if you send this over, whatever listing presentation you're going to do should be 100% based off the pre-listing package, right? Your pre-listing package eliminates the need for a lot of these crazy listing presentations we see agents doing. And Gary, I said the Craigslist killer also came from Craigslist. Look him up. There's crazy people on Craigslist. And if you're calling for sale owners, you're calling expireds, how are they supposed to know who Gary Cherkis is? Especially if Gary Cherkis don't have a brochure that tells about Gary Cherkis and his services, right? How do they know who you are if you don't have something to tell you about? So, Rob, that pre-listing package, yes, there is some information. There is some graphics from 2008, but you can find the new graphics. You can find the updated stuff on you can find it on NAR's website. NAR told me that I was not allowed to use the updated graphics to give you guys a template. They will let you guys use it with the general public, just will not let me use it. Even though I'm a member, I've been told I can't use it when training real estate agents for giving them a tool that they can use, even though I'm giving it away for free. I don't understand that, but you have to update the graphics yourself. Sorry, guys. But number 2, get more comfortable on the phone solving problems. Around this time, you're going to have some people on the phone. They're going to tell you their life story. They're going to tell you all this crazy stuff. Get really comfortable on the phone saying, hey, Mr. Seller, hey, Miss Seller, look, it sounds like you're blank. Get really comfortable with this. The scripts, you're going to have to adjust your scripts a little bit, especially if you can't go to their house this afternoon, right? A lot of us, what we're going to need to do right now is go through the scripts, but instead of setting the appointment, we're going to send over a pre-listing package, which should be easy for you guys. You know, it should be easy. Some of you guys don't want to go on appointments either. Do you send via PDF or drop off the pre-listing package on the front door? I like to email over a PDF. They have it instantly. Almost everybody that has a computer, has the internet, can open a PDF and actually read it. But guys, what our goal is right now, if you can't get out, you can't go to people's houses, you can't meet face-to-face with them, we want to get our pre-listing package. We want to get the information about us and the service that we offer in front of as many sellers as possible. We want to get really comfortable on the phone solving problems, right? We got to break out of this whole text thing. I know there's some of you guys I talk to all the time. Some of you guys message me through Facebook. You want to tell me the great things you're doing through text. Quit texting. Pick up the phone and call, right? That's how you're going to do really, really well, is building relationships. And you know what? It's a lot easier to build a relationship when they're hearing your voice versus getting basically a spam text, right? Get comfortable on the phone solving problems. If you want to make more money, get really good on the phone. Get really comfortable on the phone, right? Number 3, get comfortable asking for paperwork over the phone, right? A great script that yes, Gary's right. Make sure you make that pre-listing package a PDF. If you make it a Microsoft Word document, they can't open it unless they have Microsoft Word. But get really comfortable on the phone asking for paperwork over the phone, right? Get comfortable asking for the listing over the phone. Some of you guys want to have a 20-minute conversation with them and never ask for the business. If you don't ask for the business, you don't let them know, hey, Mr. Seller, you know what? I know it's a crazy time right now. I know you guys want to get your house on the market. Look, I can send everything over to you in your email. You can digitally sign. And if you guys could snap 10 pictures for me with your cell phone, I can get it online and we can start marketing today. We don't want to miss this time because there's a lot of people sitting around with nothing to do that are looking for houses. There's a lot of great qualified buyers out there that are home today. And that is the truth. We need to get really comfortable telling the story and asking for things over the phone. Get comfortable taking the listing over the phone. Rob, heck, I spent 2 hours at a seller's house and still didn't get the listing. I'll tell you guys a story about that. So back when I first started selling real estate, one of the things that I used to do was I'd go to people's houses. I'd set a lot of appointments. I had no sort of presentation. My whole thing was I showed up and I'd wing it, right? I'd attempt to tell them whatever they wanted to hear. And lots of times what would happen was it would end up being those 1 hour, 2 hour listing appointments. Raise your hand or give me the thumbs up on Facebook if you've ever done an hour, 2 hour listing appointment. Literally, I would leave their house and I'd be like, holy shit, I'm exhausted. But I'd leave their house too going, oh my God, they loved me. You know, I went to USC Columbia. I'm a Gamecock fan. They're a Gamecock fan. Their grandkid went there, whatever it is. Oh, they loved me. They invited me to dinner. Yeah, you know what? The truth is they invited you to dinner because they were hungry and they didn't think you were going to leave. They were just being nice. You know, that's the thing, right? The only reason they're having you at their house is because they want to sell their house. And the only reason really you should be at their house is because you sell houses, right? I mean, if you're just calling people on the phone trying to make friends, that's a whole different conversation, whole different webinar, right? Same reason. If you're at the doctor's office right now, the reason you're at the doctor's office is because you're sick and you think the doctor can fix you. The only reason the doctor's there is because he fixes sick people. It's his job, right? Get comfortable on the phone. And guys, during the listing process, during this time right now, do the best you can do now. It's all you can do, right? If they don't want to list now, just keep following up, keep offering them information, stay in contact with them. And hopefully this thing ends a whole lot sooner than everybody thinks it will, and everybody's comfortable going out, going to people's houses and everything in, you know, maybe another 2, 4, 5 weeks. I don't know. Um, but guys, too, I'm not telling you guys to run out to anybody's house today. I'm not telling you to put yourself in any harm. I'm not telling you to take a chance you're not comfortable with, right? You should always do what's safe for you and do what's the best thing for you. And I think right now the best thing for you to do is to prospect. And I think that you need to build a really, really big pipeline right now, right? Right. This is a graphic I took out of my book, How to Be an Expired Master. If you guys see this, this is your listing business right here. This is it. All the balls, the bucket at the top, that's your leads going in. That's all your Red-X people. That's all your Z-Buyer people. That's your for sale by owners. That's everybody you got coming in. That's your sphere of influence, everybody, right? They all get dumped into the top. Then you have conversations with them. You have the first conversation, right? The people that do want to do something, the people that you have correct numbers with, they move to level 2. Level 1 is a sifting level, right? It's the level to figure out who's real and who's not. It's the level to figure out, hey, did they give me a right phone number when they registered on my website? Then what you want to do is you want to follow up with the correct numbers. You want to follow up with the people that want to do something. As you get the people that do want to do something, that on the phone they tell you their deep dark secrets. Besides Z-Buyer, I do recommend Red-X. I think Red-X is one of the best lead sources out there, and they do give you guys that are in my group and stuff. They give you some discounts. They give you $150. They waive the $150 setup fee. But guys, as you have those good conversations, as you talk to a seller, they tell you their deep dark secrets. They tell you why they want to move, why they want to sell their house. They're wanting to move up. They're wanting to move down. They just missed their first payment, about to miss their second payment. Whatever it may be, you just continue to follow up, right? We're a sorter. Level 1 is figuring out the real numbers, figuring out the real people. Level 2 is sorting through the people that want to do something today, right? Level 3 is the people that are serious. You're continuing to call them, and you're continuing just to keep moving the ball forward, looking for a listing appointment and looking for signed listing agreements. But guys, once the bucket stops dumping in the top, the rest of the funnel dries up, right? Right now, we cannot let our funnel dry up. Our funnel around level 4, actually between level 3 and level 4, our funnel stopped up right now for a lot of us, right? But fortunately, the top can get as big as we need it to and as long as we need it to, right? That's the fortunate thing, and that's what we want to do, right? So prospecting compounds. If you make, as this is what I've been telling agents for a long time now, I think it would be better for a lot of you to prospect 1 hour a day for 10 days than try to prospect 10 hours in one day. If you go out there and in day 1, you try to prospect for 10 hours, number 1, you're going to get a lot of rejection, probably more rejection. If you're first time, you're going to get more rejection than you've probably ever gotten. You're going to feel beat up. You're going to be mentally exhausted, and it's going to suck. If you go out there prospecting an hour a day, just like going to the gym, if you get on the treadmill for 10 hours, man, you're going to hate life. You're going to hate, first hour might be great. The 5th hour is going to be horrible. Prospecting is the same way. However, if you prospect an hour a day, you're going to build muscle memory, you're going to build mindset, you're going to see results, and it's going to keep compounding. You're going to get better. One of the things that I've talked a lot about in my group coaching is tonality, and doing it till you know the script, right? The best way to get really, really good on the phone is get a script and stick with that script. Ask the same questions over and over. Once you've talked to 100 sellers, 500 sellers, 1,000 sellers, all of a sudden you know all the answers to those questions. It's the same way as if you ever waited tables, right? If you're a restaurant worker, when you went to that couple's table, you could, at the end of the meal, and you were going to ask them about dessert, you probably knew what their answer was going to be based on their body language and when you were approaching them. It wasn't long until you knew all the answers to that question. Would you like dessert? Right? Probably a week, you knew it all. So Chad asked, would you suggest starting with fresh expired to go back 90 days, 120, 180 a year ago? Chad, you know what? That's a question I want to cover here in just a minute. I'm going to get to that in just a minute. So guys, if you stop though, your business is going to stop. I mean, that's the thing. If you stop right now, your business is going to stop. So the no's you get today may not be no's in 2-3 more weeks, right? The person that's telling you today, this is the for sale owner that goes, hey, I don't want to work with an agent right now. You're going to get a lot of people that go, you're going to get a lot of people right now. They're going to tell you, oh, well, we don't really know what we want to do because of the coronavirus, right? And your response should be to that. This is your response. Hey, yeah, things are crazy, right? I tell you what, how about if I send you over some information about me and my team and what we do to sell houses, and you'll have all my contact information, and you can just give me a call in a couple of weeks. Hopefully this thing will be over with, right? You get their email address, you send them an email with your pre-listing package, you follow up the next day. But the no's that you get today may not be no's in 2 or 3 more weeks. The people that you pitch them on basically listing their house today and doing everything digitally, right? Yeah, they're telling you no today, but guys, when all of a sudden, you know, April might be fine for a lot of these people, but if this thing lasts another 30 days, and May might be their first month missing a payment, or May things are really going to be tight making a payment, right? I know mortgages are deferred, but missing that payment's a big deal. Missing that first payment's a big deal for a lot of people. The no that you get today may not be a no in 2 or 3 more weeks, right? But guys, we got to focus on what we can do right now. What we can do. I know a lot of agents are focusing on stuff that doesn't matter. And I put Michigan in here. I've heard that you can't call in Michigan. I've heard you can't call in Michigan. I know in New York, technically you're not supposed to call new clients. You're not supposed to prospect new people. But guys, you can call your sphere of influence. You can call your database. You can go through your friends list on Facebook. And I'm going to give you guys even a script for that here in just a second. It's a great prospecting script. But guys, some of you guys have thousands of people in your Red-X database. You have thousands of people in your CRMs. You have literally a sphere of influence that's a mile long. You guys that have not focused on sphere of influence at all, you've just focused on your past business, now's the time to get started, because that sphere of influence, I know not everybody has it, but that sphere of influence you can take this bad situation, help them solve problems, and that sphere of influence can be raving fans for you later on. Right? So this is an easy for sale owner script, or not for sale owner, but a Facebook script. Guys, if you want to start working your sphere of influence, use this script. Screenshot this. Hey, if somebody could screenshot this, post it in Real Estate Agents That Really Work for me. Guys, but sending this, going down through your friends list, sending some version of this to 20 people a day. Hey, this whole thing going on in the world's crazy. I've been researching this new bill that was just passed for my real estate clients and what mortgage options there are for homeowners getting behind. If you know anybody needing this, let me know. I'll be happy to share it. I'll tell you guys, if you use this, maybe you put in there too, I've been researching this new bill that was just passed for my real estate clients and what mortgage and rent options are there for homeowners and renters getting behind, right? Everybody knows somebody that's going to have a tough time paying rent this month, right? Everybody knows somebody with that. Guys, we got to remember too that building rapport is good for cocktail parties, not so good for prospecting, right? I'm talking about finding solutions to people's problems. Even Facebook, even just messaging 10, 20 people a day with some version of this script, right? We're getting right to the point. Hey, look, I want to help people and I got some information for them. But guys, we want to go straight into it. We don't want to warm up. We don't want to have a 20-minute conversation before we offer the information, right? Let's go ahead and mention the elephant in the room, get it out there, touch base with them. I guarantee you, guys, I've got coaching clients that are having really influential people in their market posting, offering the information, tagging them and saying, hey, blank real estate agent is the go-to person that can help you if you're going to miss your April payment. How powerful is that, guys? They are sending out that exact script that I just showed you guys. We got to mention the elephant in the room, and we got to touch as many people as possible, right? If somebody wants to sell, we need to have a sense of urgency. We got to have a sense of urgency with them. If they tell you want to sell, don't tell them, well, let's wait a couple of weeks and see what happens. If they tell you they want to sell, we need to get their house on the market today. We are possibly at the edge of a dip. If they wait 2 weeks, if they wait 6 weeks, if they wait 10 weeks, we might be slowing down the hill. I'll tell you guys, 2009, 2010, wasn't hard to get listings. Man, I'll tell you what, 2008, I was still on the phone. I was banging out calls like crazy. And I started a property management company around that time, and my property management company was growing extremely rapidly. And the reason that it was is because I had a solution to offer a lot of people. And that solution was, hey, you got a place that's sitting empty? Let me get a tenant in there for you. Worked really, really well. But the problem with being on a dip with something like this is we don't know what's going to happen. We don't know how long this is going to take. But if it is anything like 2008 was, the problem was we had people that were doing deed in lieu of foreclosure. We had people that were rapidly giving stuff back to the banks. And when we started sliding down that hill that was a dip, what happened was you list somebody's house for, say, $175 today. And it was the best price one in the neighborhood. Property be on the market 2, 3, 4 weeks. All of a sudden, you quit getting showings. You pull up MLS, and the bank just listed one for 125. Right? Or somebody else in the neighborhood listed one for 160. And we're going to see people that wait too long. We're going to see that. So things to remember when talking to clients, guys, homes are still selling. There's a lot of money in the stimulus package for housing. If you know anybody having a tough time paying rent or paying their mortgage, I can help you. Right? We need to make sure our sphere of influence knows this. And we have to tell them, and by telling them, I'm not talking about putting one post on Facebook and assuming they got it. You have to one-on-one tell them. We want to wait until this is over. Now, we talked about this a few minutes ago. We want to wait until this is over. This is your go-to script. Screenshot this. If you're not taking notes, screenshot it, right? I understand completely. Hopefully it's over sooner than expected. How about I send you over some information about me and my team and what we do to sell houses? What's your email address? That's your go-to script with anything, right? So older expireds, guys, I would stick to the script. I like older expireds, and we got a great stuff that great thing to talk about this. I'd stick to my script. Big question is, hey, Mr. Mrs. Seller, this is Jason Morris with eXp Realty. Just wanted to give you a call. Hey, I seen you had a house on the market a while back. I was wondering if you still wanted to sell it. It's a yes or no question. It's easy. You go through these calls very quickly. If they do want to sell it, continue the script. If they don't want to sell it, okay, no problem. Next, right? For sale by owners. Guys, I think right now we're about to start seeing them hit the market. I'm here in some markets, we're already seeing a lot of for sale by owners going on Craigslist and going on Facebook Marketplace. Get ready, guys. We need to get really, really proficient, and we need to get really comfortable at calling for sale by owners again. We just haven't had a lot of them lately. but we're going to see this. We're going to see this. For rent by owners, guys, I'll tell you what, one of the most productive things you can probably do in your market right now, um, one of the most productive things that you can do in your market right now is if you have rentals in the MLS, go back 12 months and start calling those people. Start calling all the sellers, the owners in your MLS that have rentals, because I guarantee you there's going to be a lot. There's going to be 25, 30% of people. If 25, 30% are missing their first mortgage payment, think about how many are going to miss their first month of rent, right? So there's going to be a lot of those landlords that didn't really intend to be landlords, right? They got stuck with a house. I believe that most people didn't decide to be a landlord. They got stuck. That's why they're a landlord. But there's going to be a lot of those people that are going to have these tenants that can't pay, and they need to know what to do. And now's a great time for you to offer them a suggestion. And there's going to be a lot of those people that have never seen anything like this. They've never seen um, an eviction moratorium. And so they're going to be a little bit shocked by it. And they're going to be like, what the hell, right? The government is telling me I can't kick out a tenant. There's going to be a lot of people like that. I guarantee you. There's going to be some really compassionate people that are totally cool with it. And they're like, hey, you know what? I'm okay with it. We're all in this boat together. There's going to be some people like that. But then there's going to be some people that are going to be like, hey, rent or tent, Um, so Michael asked if I could say the old expired script again. Um, Michael, I like to keep my scripts really, really simple, right? The old expired script, the one that I teach my coaching clients, it's hey, Mr. Mrs. Seller, this is Jason Morris with eXp Realty. I seen that you had a house on the market a while back at 123 Main Street. I was wondering, did you still want to sell that house? Right? As soon as they tell you yes, as soon as they tell you no, ask them, how much would you guys like for that house? What would you take for that house? Right? That's the script. What would you take for it? They might tell you a number, they might not, but then you can ask for more details about the house, set an appointment as quick as possible. Um, that's kind of how the short version of the script there. But that whole, hey, do you still want to sell the house? That is what you need to do. And we're going to talk about those old expireds here in just a second. So social media posts. Guys, I'm a big believer. I learned this message. I stole this from somebody else. They called it the 2 C's. C number one's raise curiosity. C number two, start a conversation. I see a lot of you guys making Facebook posts that are really, really bad posts. A lot of agents are just literally taking and putting Nicole, yes, I do have scripts in my coaching group. There's a book with like 37 scripts in it, I believe. But I see a lot of agents, they just throw up a link to a house and they don't really get much activity on it. Guys, right now we have a lot of great stuff. We have that Facebook message I showed you guys a little bit ago. There's a lot of stuff in that stimulus bill that we can really create conversations out of, and that's what our Facebook post should be doing. A lot of us are going, hey, I sell real estate, remember me? Or a lot of us are making that stupid post that's like, hey, could you see yourself get quarantined here? I'm ready for that to go away. It was funny for like a day. Now I've seen probably 1,000 real estate agents post it seems like. But so what are some posts we could raise curiosity with? You could really do something like, what if we done that? Hey, I've been researching this new bill, and there are a lot of options for people behind on rent. Message me if you need the details. Guys, I made a similar post to this a couple of days ago. That post got shared like 8 or 10 times by other people. I got tagged in some other posts, and I probably had 20 or 30 messages on Facebook about it, right? Um, all the details hadn't come out on how that money is going to be sent out for rent, but there's a lot of money in there. If you're behind on your rent, you're having a tough time because of the coronavirus or because of getting laid off or fired or whatever it might have been, there's a ton of money for that, right? That post will get you a lot of activity. Um, but look to educate about the real estate industry. I mean, some interesting stuff right now to post would be, even while people are in quarantine, we have 4 houses that went pending in such and such neighborhood, or something like that. Educate about the real estate industry. There's still people buying, there's still people selling. um, what resources can you recommend to research this information? Jay, you know what, housing authority is going to be the big one for rentals. The housing authority would be the big one, but there also be, you check with local churches in your area. Department of Social Services being a good one too. There's usually some nonprofits that help with rents that might be getting some grants out of this. But I can tell you, with the stimulus bills in 2008, the people that got the bulk of the money, where it was the housing authority. And I believe, I'll tell you guys this, I believe, now I read the version before the final version came out, and I think the final version had the same numbers in it, but I think it was $100 billion that went towards housing and keeping people in rentals, right? And then there was even more money. There was like certain number of billion that was set aside for like senior citizens. There was like another 50 billion that was set aside for veterans that were having housing problems because of it. I mean, there was a significant amount of money for housing. Um, Honestly, if you're a tenant and you're renting right now and you're having a problem paying rent because of the coronavirus or that's a result of that, if you want to stay there and you do not want to get evicted, there is money available for you. I mean, that's the truth. Now, guys, there's not, like I said, that just got signed out on Friday. I got some friends that are looking at them small business SBA grants. And some of the banks don't even have all the information yet. It's kind of funky. I mean, they approved $2.2 trillion, but the details hadn't shook out yet on how that 2.2 trillion is going to get disseminated, right? But don't just post information. Offer to give information. If you just post a link, number one, the external link isn't going to show up in news feeds. And number two, you don't know who's interested in it and who's not. You don't have the opportunity for the conversation. You want to make posts designed that people message you or raise their hand and say, hey, I'm interested in blank. You want to make sure they do that. That way you can have a conversation. You can follow up later. You can add them to your database, right? So guys, my $100,000 Red X pipeline notebook plan. So some of you guys in my group coaching, you guys have probably seen this before. So if you could add $100,000 to your pipeline right now, right? Add it to your pipeline. Now these results are based on you working, right? If you don't work, it's not going to work. If you do work, you have a positive mindset about it, you might add 200,000 to your pipeline. But would this be something that will help you guys? I'm going to give you a couple of minutes. There's still almost 100 people on Zoom. Would this help you? Yes or no? Because I know for a lot of you guys, I've been talking about 75 minutes and some of you guys are tired and ready to go to bed. But if this helps, I'll still go over it. If it's not going to help, just tell me, hey, we'll go over it a different time. So let's see. I'll give you guys a couple of minutes to answer. Do it, do it, do it. Awesome. Awesome. Do it. Cool. Yes, yes. How about Facebook? Yes, of course. Cool. So guys, I'm going to tell you. So this is something that in my real estate business, I used to do this often, and it was something that I would do that would literally boost up my business for a little while. It would keep me motivated and kind of just keep my business going full speed ahead, right? So I called it my $100,000 Red X pipeline notebook plan. And the reason is because for years, and I'll tell you this, when you do the DISC test, I'm a high I, right? I'm like a mid to 3/4 D. I'm driven. I have goals. I'm a self-motivator, right? But for some reason, I'm a high I, like 99 out of 100 on the scale with an I, and which apparently means I'm really, really social. And I laugh at that, but guys, the problem is I'm a really low S and a really low C. So that means I go out there and I work really hard and I make money, but my paperwork is horrible. It's in little piles sitting around. I will not do it until I absolutely have to. If you look at a lot of my stuff, it's organized where I can go find it, but I can never explain to you how to find it, right? That's what some of that DISC test stuff means. But so what I did was one of the things for me, and Karen, if you're an S&C, you may do better this than me, and Mike can be more organized. But for me, the problem was I would take and oh, this business is for everybody. This business is for everybody. But what it sounds like ADD. It probably is ADD. I just embrace it and just go with it though. But so what would happen is these CRMs, I'd forget to log in for a couple of days. I wouldn't update things. I wouldn't keep it organized. Didn't have the tags, so that tags were even useful. So I'd log in and I'd see 10 reminders. Then the next time I'd log in, I'd say 100. And finally, I'd just quit logging in and say, hey, screw this. I don't need this. So what I started doing was I was using RedX's Vortex CRM, but what I started doing was all the good leads, all the people that really want to do something, I would print them out, or either what I would do was I bought a notebook. I bought a spiral notebook, and I'll tell you guys a secret. I learned this from Donald Trump. Donald Trump talked about it, and I think the art of the deal, how we used a notebook rather than a legal pad because the pages stayed in. I thought that was a brilliant idea, and I started using a notebook, just a cheap. I like the 5 subject notebooks because they're bigger. I'm not organizing the tabs in any certain way. Remember, I'm like a 0 when it comes to organization. But I would use one page for a lead. And that really, really worked for me. And if you guys are in my group coaching, I designed a sheet for you that was as close to what's in my head with my notebook as what I could get. If you scroll down to the bottom when you log in, there's a sheet there. But but Michelle, yes, there's hope. And I just tried to design that sheet as close to what I was doing over and over in my notebook as possible. But what I do is I write their name, the address, all the information, and I would take that page and I'd make notes on it. And as I was doing my follow-up, I wouldn't even do my follow-up from Vortex. I wouldn't even do it from a CRM. I'd do my follow-up from the notebook. If I had a great conversation with somebody I knew wanted to sell their house, they went in the notebook, right? I learned a lot of this plan. The idea originally came from the whole thing of Donald Trump, but then Chet Holmes wrote a book called The Ultimate Sales Machine. He's got a system in there called the Dream 100. This whole idea came from the Dream 100 system that he outlines in that book. There's 1,000 YouTube videos that explain it even better. So guys, what you do and what I would do is, number one, you got to have a bunch of leads to do this, right? You got to have a bunch of leads. What I'd recommend you doing is going to jasonmorrisredx.com. You can log in there. This is the best deal you're going to get. You can subscribe to Expired directly from there. You can't get the upgraded Onyx from there. You have to call in to get it. Tell them I sent you though. Tell them you're in my coaching, and they're going to ask you some questions to see if you qualify for it. But go to jasonmorrisredx.com. And once you subscribe, I like expireds with this because we can go back and get a lot of expireds. Guys, I know there's a lot of people that like to call neighborhoods. If you're calling neighborhoods and you're just pulling a big list of thousands of phone numbers calling them, you're wasting time, right? Why not call, instead of calling 2,000 random people, why don't you call 2,000 people that you know wanted to sell their house? It never made sense to me to straight up cold call out, basically out of a phone book, like what we see some people doing. That never made sense to me, when I could call people that I know at least wanted to sell their house in the past, right? So subscribe to expireds, tell them I sent you, go back 2 years. If you go back 2 years, you're probably going to get somewhere, and this is going to vary between markets, you're going to get somewhere between 1,500 and 2,500 leads, right? You might get more, you might get less. If you get a lot less, maybe you go back 3 years. And I'm not telling you don't go back 3 years. You go back 3 years if you want to, right? But if you get a lot less than 1,500, go back 3 years. To my knowledge, RedX will help you do this, and they won't even charge you any more money for it, right? It just comes with the service. Okay, but you want to get as many leads as possible. Number 3, you want to call them all. Okay, what you're going to see, and I've consistently saw this for years, when I was actively calling and I was more active in the business, what you'll get is you'll get 1 to 2% of those people that you call still want to do something. Their house didn't sell. And I'll tell you guys this, just because their house didn't sell, that doesn't mean that they don't want to sell their house. That doesn't mean they were overpriced either. There's a lot of reasons people's house don't sell, right? I talk about in my book, How to Be an Expired Master. There's a lot of reasons. Guys, I'll tell you guys this quick story. There was a house that I listed one time that expired 3 times on MLS. It expired 3 times in MLS. I talked to the lady on the phone. I looked at the old pictures. I mean, she was priced right. The house looked good. I figured there was something I didn't know, right? Well, set an appointment with her. I go over to the house. As I pull up, I go to get out of my car, and there is a giant dog that comes out. Dog looked like a small pony. He was a horse dog, right? Just, I don't even know what kind of breed. He was just big as hell. And he sounded like he could eat my car tire, right? This dog sounded ferocious. I am usually not afraid of dogs at all, but this dog was just so big that I was like, you know what? I got to call her. So I called the lady. And I said, hey, I seen your dog here. I'm here outside. Seen your dog. I didn't know how friendly he was. I just wanted to give you a quick call. She's like, oh yeah, he's super friendly. I'm gonna walk outside. She walks outside. She calls the dog. I get out. Turns out dog's super friendly. I got a dog. Dog smelled all over me. But from that moment on, we were buddies. However, before that, this dog was ferocious. If I'd have had clients in the car with me, I wouldn't have wanted to get out of the car with them, right? So I'm looking at the house, and the house is a decent house, small house. It was about $80,000. This was when things were a little slower. Nice house for $80,000. Anyway, I'm talking to her as we're walking through the house, and I said, hey, I noticed you've had this house listed with 3 other agents. Why didn't it sell? And she goes, people would show up, they'd pull up in the front yard, and then they would turn around and leave. And that's when it hit me. They were leaving because they had the same experience I did, this giant dog, right? And that's why her house didn't sell. I'll tell you this. I told her, I said, hey, look, I think your house isn't selling because your dog. And she looked at me like, she was a hardcore dog person. She looked at me like she'd pick the dog over me any day. And I can understand that. But so I told her, I said, we need to figure out what to do with the dog. So anyway, we we take and we come up with a plan that she's going to put the dog in the bathroom, right? When there's a showing, she'd get the neighbor to take it or put it in the bathroom. And then she would leave. I always try to ask the sellers to leave if possible. So anyway, we had like 3 showings, had almost full price offer. We had a very acceptable offer, put it that way. And the house sold. And the dog wasn't an issue because the dog was not there or the dog was secured, right? Her house had been on the market for about a year previously. And the thing that was keeping her house from selling was not price, it was not condition, it was because of the dog, right? There's a lot of reasons houses expire that are not just price. So if you call down through that 2,000 leads, we're going to use 2,000 as an example here, but you're going to get 1 to 2% of those that people still want to do something and they haven't relisted. Now, what you do is after you call through that first time, you call through a second time. What you're going to see this second time, you're going to call the people that didn't answer. You're going to get about 0.5% to 1% that want to do something. So calling through this list twice, you're going to end up with 30 to 60 sellers, right? And you're going to end up with them really quick. Does this make sense to you guys? This is truly a sorting. You have to be a sorter to do this. You can't be concerned. You can't be concerned about the other 1,940 people. We're just concerned with this 30 to 60 people that do want to do something. Does this make sense? Right? And Michael, what I'm talking about with the lead sheet was in RedX Vortex, you hit the print button and it prints out a lead sheet for you. And I have a blank lead sheet in my coaching stuff on the coaching website that's kind of like what my notebook looked like. I mean, you could put them in a 3-ring binder if you're going to go that way. I had the notebook, and lots of times I would even staple them to the page and make notes on the bottom. So what you're going to have, though, is when you call through the first time, you're going to get about 1 to 2%. So you're going to get 20 to 40 leads. And then when you call through that second time, you're going to get more, right? So let's just say you ended up with 30. In my market, a listing is worth about $5,000. So you end up with 30 people that want to do something times $5,000, and that list is roughly worth $150,000, right? How motivating would it be for you to have a notebook that you carried around to you and you carried to the office and you sat at your dining room table with every day that you followed up with religiously? If you knew that notebook could make you, say, $150,000 in the next 60 to 90 days, how motivating is that for you? Right? How many of you guys already have $150,000 in your pipeline right now? If you don't, let me ask you, why are you not doing this plan? If it makes sense, why aren't you doing it? So there's agents out there, I've told this to, that are doing nothing. And they go, hey, I don't know if I want to do it. I don't know if it'll work. Well, guys, you're not doing anything now. And just look at this. We're not trying to get 2,000 listings. We're trying to find 20 to 30 people, 40 people, right? Because I'm busy calling people in the neighborhood. That's right. Chuck, why aren't you calling people that you know want to sell, right? Door knocking. I felt the same way about door knocking too. Like, hey, it's going to take me however long. By the time I walk up the driveways, knock on the door, and knock on 10 doors, it's going to take me just say 15, 20 minutes, right? 2 minutes a door. Again, that same 20 minutes, I could have called 20 people. Starting tomorrow, right? Yeah, most of you guys are doing nothing anyway. Most of you guys have nothing to do. You're sitting around this time. Hey guys, if you're using RedX, guys, if you're using RedX, RedX automatically updates. So I know there's a lot of you guys that are going, and I've had agents say, oh, well, I'm going to pull the list and look them up myself. Don't do it. Okay, just forget the whole idea. If you're going to try to look it up yourself, I'm just being honest with you. It's so much work, and it's such an overwhelming task to look up 2,000 numbers when honestly, you can spend very little money and you get them for RedX in no time. So let's talk about time commitment here. Well, let's talk about script. I forgot the script thing was first. Hey, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, I saw a while back you had a house you wanted to sell at blank. Do you still want to sell it? That's your qualifying question. If they say, no, we don't want to sell the house, we're going to keep it, live here for the next 100 years, you hang up and you dial the next one, right? If they say, yeah, we'd still like to sell it, that's great. You keep them. Debbie said, we're signing up tomorrow. We're at shelter in place midnight tonight. It's time. Yeah, guys, a lot of you guys don't have anything going on. You're in shelter in place. You're sitting home. You can't leave home. Why don't you sit there and make the calls? Now's the time. You could use this time. You could use the next week, the next 2 weeks, and not only change your life, you change your career, right? And let's look at time commitment though. So if you don't have a dialer, right? Red-X offers Storm Dialer. I recommend getting it. I was anti-dialer for a long time. I like to sit there and struggle through, I guess, and dial the numbers until I tried a dialer. Tried a dialer. I realized I could listen to music in my headset while it just constantly dialed, and that was it. But without a dialer, if you're really focused, you can make about 40 calls an hour. Circle prospecting after expired and for sale by owner. Let's talk. I mean, you can, but honestly, I think you should call the expired list again. Circle prospecting has a place, and but I think you got to call with a purpose, right? But how to schedule a call, how to make a scheduled call. So if you got 2,000 numbers, it's roughly going to be 50 hours if you're making 40 calls an hour. If you're using a dialer, if you're using the Storm Dialer, which is the Red-X thing, it fully integrates. It's one system. So you can probably make 60 to 80 calls an hour with a one-line dialer, depending on how many people answer the phone. So guys, really though, right now, with so many people being home, you might call through that 2,000 person list twice, and you might end up with 100 leads. You might end up with 100 people that want to do something, right? And what if you took your marketing dollars and you focused, instead of focusing on 2,000 people, sending mail and all this stuff to 2,000 people, what if you focused it on 100 people that you knew wanted to do something? Right? Look up Chet Holmes Dream 100 plan. You'll totally get it once you look at that. But rather than focusing on 1,000 people and spreading your marketing time and dollars out over 1,000, spread them out over the people you get from this, the 30 to 60 people. And like I said, you might get more than that right now. It's an unusual time and there's a lot of people home. But if you're making 60 to 80 calls an hour, instead of 50 hours, you're looking at more like 30, 35 hours, right? So the dialer is worth it. It's going to take you a week. This is a week project to do this, right? So your follow-up. Now you got to work on the follow-up. So guys, when you talk to somebody that wants to sell their house, you want to make sure that you send them your pre-listing package, right? Send them your pre-listing package. Send it to them as soon as possible. As soon as you send it, you want to text them to make sure they got it. Hey, Mr. Seller, I want to make sure you got the email from me just now. Then you want to call the next day, right? Guys, what we have to do is we have to look for reasons and give ourselves reasons to follow up, and we have to set ourselves up for follow-up. And what we need to do right now, especially, there's not a lot of agents calling in your market right now. A lot of them are taking off this time. A lot of them schedules are so messed up, they will never get back on the phones again. They will never have a normal schedule again. But we want to make sure that we're having enough conversations quickly enough after they tell us they want to sell that we're top of mind, that they know us, right? So we want to send them the pre-listing package, want to text to make sure they have it, want to call the next day. And the call the next day is an easy call. Hey, Mr. Seller, Mrs. Seller, this is Jason Morris with eXp Realty. Sent you over an email yesterday with my with some information about me and my team and what we do to sell houses. Just want to call and make sure you got it and see if you have any questions. Oh, no questions. That's great. That's great. Yeah, well, I'm doing a little bit of research later on. And I'll be in front of my computer. I'd seen where there's some stuff pending and sold in your neighborhood. Would you like me to email that stuff over to you? Yeah, sure. They don't have nothing to do right now. They're going to tell you, yeah. They'll look at whatever you send them. I promise you. Hey, you email it over to them later that day. You call them the next day. Hey, Mr. Seller, do you see that house over on Magnolia Street? Man, I think that house is real similar to yours, and you told me that you wanted 150 for it, and that one right there is pending for 169. Um, looks like now's a really good time to sell, and I'll tell you, I think it is, Mr. Seller, right? You have that conversation with them. Then you take and you send over a net sheet, you know. Hey, Mr. Seller, I was doing some stuff for some other people and I thought I'd work up this net sheet for you. Send it over. Make sure you got 3 columns. File the one in my group coaching. Make sure you got 3 columns there, a low, a medium, and one that's a little bit on the high end, right? The middle one's where you want it to be. You send that over to them, then you call to follow up. Hey, Mr. Seller, I sent you over a net sheet. Hey, I just want to let you know if we put your house on the market right now for 165,000, you're going to be the best price one on the pond. And look, 165 is going to net you XXX, right? Would that be acceptable for you and your wife? When would you guys like to get started? Oh, we'd like to get started quick, but we got this coronavirus going on. Hey, no problem. I tell you what, could you guys possibly get me 10 pictures? Yeah, we could do that. Well, that's great. I tell you what, I'm going to email you over the paperwork. If you can get me out those 10 pictures, I can start marketing it this afternoon. There's a lot of buyers sitting home on their couch with nothing to do looking at houses. Let's not miss one of those people, right? Call to follow up, continue to follow up with useful information, right? Come up with reasons to follow up. Whatever's happening in your market, whatever's happening with whatever it is, make sure you follow up with it. A lot of agents are following up and their follow-up is so damn bad. They wonder why it's not working. It's so bad. And what they're saying basically is, hey, Mr. Seller, Jason Morris here. Want to list today? Those agents aren't going to be around during all this, right? That don't work today. That doesn't work. Hey, you know what? Offer them the information that you're getting. Offer them the information you're getting about mortgages. Offer them the information you're getting about rentals. Right? Everybody knows somebody that's renting a house that's going to have a problem right now. But guys, I got some time here for some question and answer. I know still a lot of you guys on their question when you're asking them to take pictures for us, aren't we essentially telling them how to be a for sale owner? No, we're telling them to take 10 pictures and we're going to start marketing it for them. We're not telling them how to be a for sale owner. We're just telling them what we need to do to get started. That's all. That's all we're doing is telling them what we need to do to get started. So guys, yep, we're just telling them what we need to do to get started, and that's it. So, hey guys, so Chuck asked, are you dialing 3 lines at a time? You know what? I've never liked the 3-line dialers. I wasn't a fan of Mojo because Mojo, number one, I didn't like their data. I thought the Red X data was better, but I didn't like that it didn't all integrate. So there was kind of a little bit of a technology hurdle sometimes. And if one updated and the other one didn't update immediately, sometimes it did not work correctly. But the 3-line dialer, I'll tell you the thing for me is I felt like the 1 line was really comfortable. I could Storm Dialer does offer a 3-line option, but I felt like the 3-line option went extremely fast, and I just didn't like it. I felt like I was pressured on the phone to like hang up to get to the next call. And yes, Tori, Red X Onyx. Okay, so the difference between Red X and Red X Onyx is Red X Onyx gives you all the data and it gives you emails. But you're correct, Red X is now offering emails. But guys, I didn't like. But anyway, the 3-line dialer is an option. Some people like it. I just wasn't a fan, man. I felt like 1 line was like super comfortable with me. I wasn't rushed through conversations. Merle, the author, it is actually the Dream 100. is what it was called, the Dream 100. And what it was basically it was about his whole Chet Holmes, C-H-E. Let's see, I'm gonna type it here at the bottom. Chet Holmes. Well, that's who I was talking about. I think it's an E. I'll tell you what, that book though, it's called The Ultimate Sales Machine. I've probably read that book 20 times. I feel like every time I read it, I got something new. Yes, Nicole, RedX, yes, it does have an E in it. So RedX does have phone, email, and address. Yes, ma'am. So in our MLS, we have to declare whether we own the pictures. If the seller is making the pictures, then that wouldn't be an issue. Exactly. Right? If the seller's making, then would that not be an issue? No. Seller took the pictures. Why can't you just post that in MLS? So I mean, technically, I wouldn't worry about that at all. I wouldn't worry about the whole picture thing at all, especially if they're taking them. I mean, the only person that really can complain is the seller who you're working for. What's the price for this, and is there a special? I'll tell you guys what. Let's go look at their website real quick. And let's do a stop share. Hang on just a second. You guys go to jasonmorrisredx.com. That is going to be the website that's going to get you guys going. I'll show you directly on the website what they have and what they offer. And Chet Holmes, Dream 100 strategy. That is it. Do you tell the seller that you'll have professional photos taken? You know what? Yes, if that's what you're doing, that's what you're promising them. Yes, you can have professional photos taken. But we have to start where we're at. If we're in a shelter-in-place type situation, maybe we can't get those photos right now. Maybe our regular photographer's a little scared to go out. But if you guys go to jasonmorrisredx.com, that'll bring you to the website, and this website has they save the waive the setup fee on this website, so that saves you $149. You don't have to pay the setup fee. Let's see, choose your leads. Expireds, we're talking about $60 right there. Right there. $59.99 a month. I want to say the dollar's an extra 100, but yeah, regular expireds. If you're brand new, this is what you need. Go back, get the last 2 years. So we're talking about $60 costs. Now, what you're buying is data that is mined. It's mined data. It's not going to be 100% accurate. It doesn't matter where you get it from, but it's going to be better than anything else that's out there. So $59.99. If you get GeoLeads, $49.95. The for sale by owner is $40 a month. I'll tell you what the advantage is of subscribing to for sale by owners is if you have an hour blocked off for calls, you're not spending that hour looking for leads. You're spending that hour actually making calls. You're opening your laptop. Everything's there. So you can just push start. You can just start. Right? For rent by owners, $79.99. Pre-foreclosures, I'll tell you what, guys, pre-foreclosures is $49.99. In the past couple of years, we haven't had a lot of opportunities for pre-foreclosures. But here the next 2 or 3 months, guys, I feel like that's going to be a topic that we're going to be talking some more about. So, guys, and every time you get this, if you can see this video here, you kind of get an idea. This right here is their Vortex system. You do get the CRM with RedX. You do get the CRM for free once you subscribe to anything. They had Michael said they had for sale by owners expired at a single line dollar for $159. Yes, they actually they've done a package deal. You guys can call them, tell them that I sent you, and ask them what kind of package deal they have, and they may have something that you have to get over the phone that they don't have here on the website. So what would I pick first? I'll tell you this. If I had to choose one, I'd pick the expireds. If I was on a budget, if I had to pick one, I'd pick expireds and I'd get the dollar just because it's going to save me time. But if I had to pick one and I was on a budget, I'd get the expireds and that's where I would start. $60. It's not a big investment. Um, you spend more than that going out to dinner. So that's what I would do. So guys, I appreciate you guys being on this call tonight. I hope that I know we went over a lot of stuff. Man, it's a long call. My voice hurts. Um, it's a lot longer than normal. But I hope there's a lot of stuff in here that we can help you guys. Hey, thanks, Chuck. I really appreciate you guys being on it with me. Shell, I'm in. Yes, if you guys want to join my group coaching, I tell you for the month of April, go to jasonmorrisgroupcoaching.com, put in the coupon code $1 at the checkout, all one word, and it will save you some money. So there's a lot of stuff on there. Hey, thanks, Tori. Thank you, guys. Hey, thanks, Merle. I appreciate it, man. Hey, thanks, Karen. I'll see you.